Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and hello. Hello. It is. We are now. It is currently November the 6th of 2022. We are now officially a fifth of our way through the month of November, and the reason again why I hold the month of November in such high regard is because this is, I think, the sort of month, well, where I literally come into my own. I work harder than ever before during this month because of certain things that happened in my life 7 years ago. But without getting into them, I kind of wanted to share this message just for those who are at all interested in hearing them. Maybe if you're starting up on YouTube and you want to know how to get started, or you want to know how to build a following, then, well, take this as just a piece of advice. For what it's worth, I want to share it to you guys, because I've been doing YouTube videos for 4 years now. I might not look like it's really gone anywhere, but I do it because I love it. And I think if you've got something to... It's one of my... I have like a 10 commandments of politics in terms of, like, you know, what your rights are and what you can do. And I'll go through two of them, like the two golden rules when it comes to politics, in my opinion. The first is persona is political, meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that irregardless of who you are, what you are, where you are, whom you are, and why you are, and stuff like that, you will always have people who are against you or who will theoretically be on your side. Again, theoretically. That might not be the case, but the point is that you should never be dismayed from having to, like, change yourself just to appeal to somebody else. Because the problem you run into is that if people if people gather towards you for the things you stand for and the things you say, then you've got to make sure you're saying them not because it's what you want people to hear, but you should say what you actually feel. You can't let anybody, ladies and gentlemen, ever tell you what you can and cannot feel. That's one of the most important lessons I think I've ever learned in my life. Not because people have told me, but because I had to work that out for myself in no less than about 7 months ago. Because I think it's one thing for people to tell me if I'm right or wrong without hearing me out. I think it's also quite another for people to suddenly start saying that they are the ones who hold the corner of virtue and that I should feel a certain way whenever they have got anything to say. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. And don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, because being true to who you are is far more important than looking good or saying things that are going to make you look good. Like I said, say what you truly feel, and then you'll know, and then you'll reap the rewards accordingly. I say rewards because, well, what I mean to say is that sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, there is no right or wrong. There are only consequences. And you will pay the consequences for the choices you make. Whatever that might be, that it will be completely on you. And that's... You can't ask for anything else than that, unfortunately. The second, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have got to have your say. This one is very self-explanatory, but it covers a very genuine grievance that's faced in the world. There are some things, ladies and gentlemen, I absolutely would love to say. However, it's not that I won't say them, but it's that I've got to write them down. I've got to orchestrate myself and my words in such a fashion that it prevents any level of, like, you know, ambiguity, obscurity, because I want to get it. I wear my heart on my sleeve, ladies and gentlemen, but that does not mean that, you know, I don't think before I speak. And bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, 99% of all the videos I've ever made have been without a script. I go off from what I truly think, but again, I have to think about them before I say them. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you right now, it's one thing, again, to have your say, and you've got to make sure you stand by it. Remember, as of right now, I live in England, for example. England is still a democracy. Regardless of what I've said before, this is still a democracy. I mean, there are people out there who who do not live in a democracy. They live in a dictatorship. Probably people who think and feel maybe the same things that I feel about the way the modern world is. And again, you have to understand that we have the privilege of, having freedom of speech, freedom of being able to say what we want. It's more important than people give credit for. But that does not give you any reason whatsoever or any excuse to abuse it, if that makes sense. And as I was saying before, you've got to, again, take care of what you say, because the worst thing in the world is for people to cherry pick things that you say and then will take it out of context and then say it in such a way as to make you look as dreadful as possible. Now, fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years, and this has never once happened to me. I've never had really any real trolls, apart from maybe this one loser called Noah from 2 years ago. He tried to completely copyright, he tried to completely ban my channels a couple of years ago because I had things to say about his presentation, about his videos, and he's a pretty notorious copyright troll in that regard. He also tried to do the same to a channel called Good Idea, Bad Idea. But, ladies and gentlemen, if anything, that's if there's anything to take away from this video for anyone who is starting up on YouTube, that is all I've got to say to you right now. There's no tips about the algorithm. I mean, I do know stuff about the algorithm and the sort of things you can put in titles and thumbnails. But getting past all that, that's just like a marketing ploy, if you ask me. That's just to get people to come to you. If you want people to stay, then you've got to offer something to them. A joke, an opinion, an idea, and then something entertaining. Something that could change a person's life. These things matter far more than they probably do, because if you want to go down in history, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be remembered for the things that you've said and you do, then you've got to do things that are going to make people remember for what you say and what you do. I probably might do a follow-up video where I go through the full 10 list of my political commandments, but for now, I think that's a good place to call it there. So, happy hunting, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck on your adventures and your endeavors. Good luck, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, there is work to be done. There is always more work.